Daryl, how would you assess where the confidence of the team is right now after winning 9 in a row?
Confidence is really high. Team is really going after every game, trying to focus on the next game, and just really trying to continue to pass the bat to each other because that's what's really working for all of us right now. The ability to hand the bat to each other and executing on situations is what's really helping us.
Yeah, I guess how much does it help you guys' mindset knowing that at any point in the lineup you have someone who could theoretically make a big hit?
Like I said, just the ability to trust each other. I mean, we come out here every day, practice, just focus on what we need to do and prepare, make sure we're ready for every game that comes ahead of us.
Have any of your teammates surprised you at all? Just having bigger years than you might have anticipated before the year started?
Not really. I mean, ever since the fall, we knew we had a good team. So really, our plan was just to execute and just come out here and just be who we are.
At this point in the season when there are only a few series left, what does it take for you guys to continue to succeed when the number of remaining games is starting to dwindle?
Just to continue to prepare the right way. I mean, that's something that coach and all of our guys in the locker room talk about every day, really. Just going out there, making sure our IO's good, our BP's good, just mentally and physically preparing before the game.
And how do you guys handle kind of, I don't know, the increased attention and excitement that's come with this team over the course of the last couple of months?
It's really exciting, actually. I mean, obviously record-breaking attendance this year, but just having that fan support is really awesome. But it's really nice having those guys come out here and supporting us and having our backs when it's game time.
Having games against Kansas State and Missouri kind of in the dog days of the season, what does that do to energize you guys as a team?
It rattles us up. Like, it gives us all the energy that we need to do to go out there and even perform better. Like, those are big rivalry games. Obviously, we wanted to go out there, play our best, and give the fans a show, and thank God it actually worked.
Daryl, with you coming for the first year, do you guys still feel that historical rivalry, being kind of guys that have been here for only a single year?
I mean, yeah, because just it's the history of it. That just goes on, just really feeling like, all right, it's the rivalry game, so we got to put on for our team, put on for the history of the university.
You guys were traveling a lot over the course of this month. What do you think about now getting to have a home weekend series after playing a home midweek?
It feels really nice, but regardless, I know the guys and I will be ready to prepare for what's next ahead of us, and just have the fans supporting us will be a really huge difference in getting us out there and beating the other team.
How is the atmosphere going into the 4th annual Buck O'Neill Classic, and just what the bigger than baseball kind of aspect?
It was really nice, just having that type of day and supporting Buck O'Neill and having the history of it. It was just really nice, and then the fans obviously coming out to support it made it even better just because of the rivalry game against Mizzou, and the atmosphere was really great.
Your favorite part of that museum? Have you been there?
Yeah, it was where all the statues was at of all the great players at each position. Obviously, he showed the statue page and all those type of guys, and just learning about them from obviously not just from the video games of MLB The Show, but actually just getting to know them and getting the history of how they really provided all this game with everything that they gave it.
Anything else for Dario?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dario.
Thank you, guys.
Sawyer, what's been working well for you in particular at the plate recently?
Just competing and being aggressive. We all come out here and work every day, so it's just trying to pass the bat to the next guy and keep the lineup going through and score runs.
In a game like last night where you saw a lot of production at the bottom of the order, how important is that for you guys to both produce yourselves and help set up the guys at the top of the order?
Just being able to get on and flip the lineup over and be able to help the team score runs is always awesome, especially when you get to the bottom, because the top of the order is coming back up, so you know they'll come through.
How have you guys handled the increased outside attention and excitement surrounding the team this year?
We've really just been focused on what we're doing every day, practice, games, and not really paying attention to everything that's going on outside the team, and just being in the team and going day by day.
Is that easy to do, or it can be tough at times?
Coach Fitz always talks about it and is very always pushes it across. Like, just be focused on us day by day and not look too far ahead. So it's just what we try to focus on doing.
That's the same thing I asked Daryl. After a couple weeks on the road, how does it feel to have a couple homestands against big rivals during the dog days this season?
It's super nice to be back home, especially with the fans that come out. It helps give a little bit of energy, so it's always a good time.
What do you think about getting to stay at home for this weekend and return to Big 12 play?
It's super nice, just being able to, like I said, have our fans here, be able to be at our home field is just always awesome.
And then, what did you have a favorite part of the museum when you visited the Negro Museum?
Yeah, I would say the field with all the statues of like all the old players. It was really cool to see like them out on the field and learn about their history, such as like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, and it was pretty cool to see all of them.
Anything else for Sawyer? Thanks, Sawyer.
Thank you.
What do you feel like the confidence of this team is like right now with another long winning streak going?
I think everybody's feeling good. You know, obviously coming off the sweep, everyone's feeling pretty confident coming into this next weekend. Just got to keep it rolling.
There's been a lot of talk of your home atmosphere here in Lawrence. Are there any stadiums you've been to, whether it's in Big 12 or non-con, that have compared at all to what you've seen here?
I'd say last year at Texas when we played there, it was probably pretty similar to that. But I mean, I love playing in an atmosphere like that and getting the fans involved.
Big 12 pitcher of the week last week. How does that feel? Do you celebrate it all, or do you just take it as another accomplishment?
I mean, I just take it as another accomplishment, and you know, I can't do it without the defense too. So it kind of goes partially to them. But yeah, I just gotta focus on the next week.
Not this week, but next you'll have to adjust to pitching a day earlier. What goes into that when you have to make a transition like that?
I'd say just keep it like a normal week and maybe a little bit less throwing, and we'll get after it in the weight room and get all the times and everything figured out.
How was the atmosphere going into the Border War and also it being the 4th annual Buck O'Neill Classic in the clubhouse?
It was awesome. Everybody was excited. We always get to wear the Buck O'Neill uniform, so that's always cool. And I feel like playing against Mizzou, everybody shows up and has a great attitude.
Having a couple series at home against Kansas State and then a one-off game against Mizzou during kind of the dog days of the season, how does that energize you guys as a team?
I mean, it feels good. Just keeps us all motivated and encouraged to keep playing hard and just moving on to next week, rolling hot, and just keep going from there.
What do you think about playing Cincinnati next, a team that was a little tough for you guys last year?
I mean, I'm pretty confident. I feel like our hitters are going to be able to handle all their pitchers pretty well, and we got a pretty good scouting report on all their hitters, so I'm feeling pretty good.
What's been your most confident pitch to use?
Probably slider still. Yeah, I've always felt pretty confident throwing that. It always feels good coming out of the hand.
Using your changeup much at all this season yet, or no?
Yeah, I've used it a little bit more this year compared to last year, but we're still working on it and trying to figure out when to throw it, what's the best way to throw it, stuff like that.
How much did it do for your confidence having an outing like the one you did last weekend?
I'd say it boosted it a lot. I mean, having a couple rough ones the last weeks before that, and then going out there and almost going complete game, I feel like it just brought me back.
You have a favorite moment this season?
Favorite moment? Probably the walk-off grand slam that Dario hit. That was pretty big.
Did you think that you had the final out for the complete game before they reviewed it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to call him out anyways. I thought he was out, but it's all right. It happens.
Anything else for Dom? Thanks, Dom.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
With 9 wins in a row, what do you think about where the team's confidence is at this juncture?
Yeah, definitely confident crew. They continue to be very process driven, which I think helps the confidence because they can revert back to the process and they know that the wins were part of that formula. And yeah, but really confident. They're having a ton of fun, and yeah, they really like each other. So every day is a lot of fun out here.
You mentioned the fun they have, and they talk about that a lot as well. How much does that help with maybe dealing with pressure and expectations as the season goes on?
Well, I think it's a huge piece of it because I think it talk about the humility they have towards each other and very simply them just thinking about their teammates more than they think about themselves. And I think a byproduct of that is being able to laugh at yourself and being able to laugh with your teammates. And you know, there's stuff that goes on in our dugout at tight moments where the guys are loose and enjoying it, and that they're really taking advantage of staying in the moment. So I think the pressure and we've talked about this since August, that the angst or whatever you want to call it that you feel is literally just adrenaline. And so I think they embrace that, and they know that the increased fans and the increased attention and all that stuff is just fun and a byproduct of them really enjoying playing together and being successful.
Are there any examples you can point to, high pressure moments where it stayed pretty loose in the dugout?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Haugie told Balls the other day, as Balls was walking the plate, he told him to keep it cash, which I thought was particularly funny. Haugie's got some good ones. He's got a couple speeches memorized that he'll recite at different times. He's got some Herb Brooks stuff from Miracle that's spot on. Our pitchers who aren't pitching at the time, and that's kind of just a part of the game of baseball. Is that the guy who's, Dom is a whole lot more funny on Saturday than he is on Friday, and Cooper's a whole lot more funny on Friday and Sunday than he is on Saturday. But yeah, they carry a lot of energy. They're very funny.
How about a couple big series like the K-State series, and a one-off at home against Mizzou? How does that kind of impact the energy of the team getting to come home for games like that?
Well, I think being home is a few things with it. One, the crowds have been insane, and it's loud, and the energy in the ballpark and the buzz during BP and all that stuff is palpable. And then the other part of being home is you sleep in your own bed. You get to hit in the cages whenever you want. You have a routine. You have your locker. You're not in and out of a hotel. You're kind of used to your deal. So I think there's a little bit of a natural energy boost of being at home. But yeah, the crowds and then our opponents. We've just had some great opponents and some great games at home that I think have boosted that.
You talked before about kind of recalibrating things, so you had Cooper Moore pitching on Saturday. Next week you start the Thursday series. Just what's the process been like of kind of adjusting your pitching rotation to account for that upcoming stuff?
I think as we get into those last two weekends that become Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I hope we're in a spot where we just bump Dom to Thursday and Coop to Friday, and then just go from there. So, if you take care of business in the Big 12 tournament format sets up differently than it has, and that it's if you're a top 4 seed, it becomes a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You get a bye, so if you do well and finish strong and finish in the top 4, it lines up like a weekend series. So in a perfect world, Dom goes to Thursday, Coop Friday, and then we go from there.
Do you like this format better than last year?
I don't love a single elimination tournament in baseball. In fact, I don't think I've ever played in a single elimination anything in baseball. But it's a little bit of the standard now, and it was double elimination, and if you got beat early, you had to crawl back. Now it got to the Saturday, Sunday was single elimination, but we have a couple factors. One, we have to be done Saturday night with BYU coming in the Big 12, and so it shrinks our week, and so that was one factor. And then just new world of college athletics, cost of everything changes. So as a group, the coaches, we had voted for a 12-team bracket play, which if you look historically at the ACC tournament, that's kind of been the standard of what, I don't know if you call it RPI protection or whatever, but if you're a top seed, you're probably in, so you're playing 2 seeds below you. So if an RPI hit probably doesn't hurt you if you're 1 through 4 in the Big 12. If you're in the middle, you get a chance to play someone ahead of you for a good RPI bump, and then someone below you. And then if you're below, if you're in those 8, 9 through 12 type, you get to play up. So the ACC that format's worked really well. So we kind of adopted that and proposed that. But the SEC went to single elimination, the Big 12 single elimination, and then right after the Big 12, the ACC did as well. I don't know, the Big 10, I don't know what they're doing, but it seems to be the trend in conference tournaments this year, and I'm guessing it's just the new landscape and cost, which is very real, obviously, throughout college athletics.
You guys have played in some beautiful parks this year, but kind of looking ahead to the Big 12 tournament, playing in Arlington, playing in an MLB stadium, is there any sort of buzz about that, or is it just it's just another ballpark, it's just another day?
We have talked zero about it just because it's so far away. I think our guys, I think the Big 12 tournament is really fun, and the guys who have played in it, I'm sure they'll talk about how great it is to be in that stadium, and certainly when we get down there, we'll enjoy it. But no, we haven't talked about Cincinnati yet. We spent time. I mean, we didn't talk about Missouri until Monday and Tuesday, and then I haven't seen the guys since last night. So we'll jump into Cincinnati today.
How would you describe the atmosphere of last night's Buck O'Neil Classic, and what does the tradition kind of mean to you?
The tradition is, I think it's really special. I think, inheriting it, Coach Price had started it, and my familiarity with the Negro Leagues and the Negro League Museum was almost all Buck O'Neil. And in coming to Kansas and touring the museum and getting to know Bob Kendrick and going through that experience, you get to see an incredible, if anyone hasn't been there, they should go today. It's if you're a baseball fan, a history fan, an American, it's incredible. And so I think going through that experience was truly life-changing. And then seeing the impact that Buck had universally in the sport of baseball, I think it makes it even more special to be honoring him with the Buck O'Neil Classic. So it's incredibly important to our program. We'll do it, it's just a staple. We'll always do it. The atmosphere was awesome. The crowd was great. It definitely felt like a rivalry game. There was a buzz before. There was a great crowd. It's weird. I can't see a whole lot from where I stand. So a lot of it's happening above me and behind me, and I'm not really looking up. So I hear stuff during the games, and I assume insane things are happening based off of their reaction, but I have no idea what it is. And now my bat boys look up there a lot, and they tell me what's going on, which is frightening. But no, it was an incredible atmosphere, and when Council hit the home run, the place it erupted. Like you could feel like the dugout shook for a minute. So yeah, special thing we got going on here, and obviously the guys have done a great job of playing a brand of baseball that people love coming to watch. It's been really awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.